That didn't happen. The streets of Moscow, once expected to be barren and desolate, are still bustling with life. Supermarkets, contrary to predictions, remain stocked, and the Russian people continue their daily routines, seemingly unfazed by the global economic storm brewing around them. When Russia invaded Ukraine, the world expected its economy to implode. Analysts foresaw a rapid decline, predicting that the financial infrastructure would crumble under the weight of international pressure and military expenses. Sanctions hit hard, global companies fled, and everyone predicted a swift collapse. The exodus of Western brands left gaping holes in the Russian market, and the absence of these familiar names was supposed to signal the beginning of the end. But here we are in 2025, and Russia's economy hasn't just survived, it's grown on paper. The financial district is alive with activity, and business people stride with a sense of purpose, defying the grim forecasts of economic doom. It's like the villain in a movie who just won't die. Despite the odds, the Russian economy has become a resilient antagonist in the global narrative, refusing to bow to external pressures. How is a sanctioned, isolated, war-embroiled economy not only surviving but growing? The answer: brute force. Factories hum with activity, churning out military vehicles and equipment at an unprecedented rate, fueling the economy with a relentless drive. The government has hotwired the economy, funneling everything into the military. This militarization has created a facade of growth, with production lines working overtime to meet the demands of a nation at war. Headline numbers look good, but for ordinary Russians, life is getting harder. Prices rise, and families struggle to make ends meet, counting every ruble as they navigate the economic landscape. This is a wartime economy. Impressive stats, but at a steep human cost. Soldiers walk past the scars of conflict, while commuters in the metro bear the weight of a nation's burdens on their weary shoulders. The war, meant to destroy Russia's economy, has become its main engine. Military parades showcase strength, but they also highlight the dependency on conflict to sustain economic momentum. Military spending has created an artificial boom, but it's not healthy or sustainable. The printing presses roll and factories spark with activity, but beneath the surface, the economy teeters on a precarious edge. Russia's economy is on steroids, propped up by emergency measures. Officials scramble to maintain stability, holding meetings to devise strategies that keep the economic engine running. Economic warfare isn't simple, and the consequences reach far beyond the battlefield. Oil refineries and ports remain active, but the global economic chessboard is more complex than ever, with every move carrying significant repercussions. Let's dive into the strange reality of Russia's zombie economy. An economy that, like a specter, haunts the global stage, defying logic and expectation, as we explore the intricate web of survival strategies that keep it alive. Russia's economic growth comes down to one thing: military spending. The government is pouring record amounts into the defense industry. Factories making tanks and missiles are running non-stop. This surge in manufacturing is why Russia's GDP is up. It's a wartime sugar high, not real prosperity. The boom is concentrated in military-heavy regions. The rest of the country isn't thriving. The government's strategy: feed the war machine at all costs. Oil exports to China and India help keep money flowing. But this isn't sustainable. Building things to be destroyed is not a path to lasting growth. The economy looks healthy on the surface, but it's dangerously unbalanced. Eventually, the crash will come. The only question is when and how hard. For now, Russia is living on borrowed time. While the government touts growth, painting a picture of a resilient economy and strong numbers at official press conferences, the reality on the ground tells a very different story for most Russians. Ordinary Russians face soaring prices every time they visit the supermarket or try to buy everyday essentials. The cost of living is rising fast, and it's impossible to ignore. Inflation is draining wallets. Basic goods from eggs to car parts cost much more than they did just a year ago. Even simple pleasures, like a cup of coffee or a loaf of bread, now feel like luxuries for many families. Why? Massive war spending, international sanctions, and a shaky ruble are all taking their toll. The government is pouring money into the military, but that means less for schools, hospitals, and social programs. Sanctions make imports expensive and complicated. Everyday items from electronics to medicine are harder to find and cost far more than before. A weaker ruble means everything imported costs more, even Russian-made goods that rely on foreign parts or materials. This drives up prices across the board, affecting nearly every sector. To fight inflation, the central bank hiked interest rates, making loans and mortgages unaffordable for most families and small businesses. Borrowing money is now a luxury few can afford. As a result, investment outside the military has dried up. Factories sit idle, shops close their doors, and new projects are put on hold, stalling economic growth in most sectors. The war has also created a worker shortage. Many have been mobilized for military service or have fled the country in search of safety and stability, leaving businesses scrambling to fill positions. Companies pay higher wages to attract staff, but that just fuels more inflation. The cycle continues, with prices rising faster than paychecks can keep up. For most people, pay can't keep up with rising costs. Families are forced to make tough choices, cutting back on essentials and worrying about the future. Life feels like running on a treadmill, working harder and longer hours, but still falling behind. The sense of exhaustion and frustration is everywhere. The growth the government talks about is not reaching the average Russian. For most, the war's economic impact is felt every day, in every ruble spent and in every sacrifice made. All this military spending is blowing a hole in Russia's budget. The government is borrowing heavily, selling bonds to its own banks and citizens. It's also draining the National Welfare Fund, money meant for the future. This is like paying your mortgage with a credit card. It works for now, but it's not sustainable. Every ruble spent today is one less for pensions, healthcare, or infrastructure tomorrow. Debt is piling up, and long-term stability is at risk. To keep the war funded, the government is quietly cutting spending on everything else. Investments in roads, health, and the environment are being sacrificed. The war is forcing Russia to trade its future for the present. The Russian economy is split in two, almost as if it's living a double life. On one side, you have the relentless march of the military sector, and on the other, the quiet struggle of everyday civilian life. This divide is shaping the country's future in ways that are both dramatic and deeply concerning. The military sector is booming. Factories are flush with cash, churning out weapons non-stop. Assembly lines for tanks, missiles, and ammunition are running day and night, fueled by government contracts and a sense of national urgency. For those working in defense, paychecks are rising and job security seems almost guaranteed. Meanwhile, the civilian economy is starving. Grocery stores struggle to keep shelves stocked, and many shops have closed their doors for good. The contrast is stark. While one part of the economy thrives, the other withers. Workers are lured to defense plants by high wages, leaving other industries short-staffed. The promise of better pay and stability draws people away from traditional jobs, creating a labor vacuum in sectors like retail, manufacturing, and services. Civilian businesses can't get parts, can't borrow money, and can't find enough workers. Supply chains are breaking down, and small business owners are left waiting for deliveries that never arrive. The ripple effects are felt everywhere, from car repair shops to local cafes. The result? A distorted economy with a strong military shell and a hollow civilian core. The country looks powerful on the outside, but inside the foundations are weakening. GDP growth is real, but it's not prosperity. It's a sign of a country rewired for war. Numbers on paper look impressive, but they mask the reality that most people are not better off. The growth is concentrated in weapons, not in goods that improve daily life. Car production and other civilian industries are collapsing. Factories that once made appliances, cars, and electronics now sit idle or have been repurposed for military use. Everyday Russians find it harder to buy what they need. By prioritizing tanks over toasters, Russia is sacrificing its long-term future. This imbalance can't last. A nation can't thrive on weapons alone. Eventually, the lack of consumer goods and services will catch up. A healthy economy needs diversity, not just weapons. It needs thriving shops, innovative factories, and opportunities for all, not just those building arms. Eventually, the civilian sector's decline will drag everything down. When people can't find work outside the military and businesses can't survive, the whole system becomes unstable. The current growth is cannibalizing tomorrow's prosperity. Without a strong civilian core, the country's future is at risk, no matter how many tanks roll off the assembly line. Sanctions didn't destroy Russia overnight, they're squeezing it slowly. The biggest impact is on trade and technology. Russia can't easily buy high-tech goods or machinery from the West. It's turned to China and India for trade, keeping energy money flowing. Sanctions evasion is costly and unreliable. The real threat is technological isolation. Russia is cut off from global innovation. Import substitution is slow and expensive. You can't catch up overnight. Over time, Russia's industries will fall behind, becoming less efficient. and less competitive. The economy risks stagnation as the world moves forward. Sanctions are grinding down Russia's future, even if the pain isn't immediate. Russia's biggest problem isn't money, it's people. The war has pulled hundreds of thousands out of the workforce, and a brain drain has sent many skilled professionals abroad. Businesses can't find enough workers, and the unemployment rate is low only because of this shortage. Demographic decline, low birth rates, and an aging population makes things worse. Employers are forced to raise wages, but inflation eats up those gains. The defense sector outbids everyone, draining talent from healthcare, education, and civilian industries. You can't print more skilled workers. The loss will hurt for decades. The labor crisis is a deep wound, limiting Russia's future potential. The true cost of war is measured in lost people, not just lost rubles. The ruble's wild ride has left Russians dizzy. After the invasion, it crashed, then rebounded, but now it's sliding again. A weak ruble makes exports cheaper, but imports, and anything with foreign parts, cost more. Inflation eats away at savings and shrinks buying power. The government tries to manage the ruble with high interest rates, but it's a painful balancing act. Too strong, and oil revenues drop. Too weak, and public anger rises. For ordinary Russians, it means constant uncertainty. Prices climb, savings lose value, and paychecks don't keep up. The disconnect between official growth and daily struggle is stark. The ruble's instability is a daily reminder of the war economy's fragility. Stability feels out of reach for most people. So, is Russia's economy resilient or just a mirage? The answer both. It survived sanctions and war thanks to military spending and energy exports. But this isn't real strength, it's life support. The economy is being hollowed out, with the civilian sector sacrificed for the military. Debt is rising, savings are being drained, and the labor force is shrinking. Technological isolation will only make things worse. This is a fortress economy, built to endure, not to thrive. The growth is an illusion, a side effect of total war footing. The future looks bleak, slower growth, more inflation, and deep structural wounds. Russia's economy isn't collapsing, but it's being fundamentally broken. Survival comes at a monumental price. The collapse didn't happen, but a slow, grinding decline is underway.